dehumanizing and derogatory.
It's clear to us that your commentary invokes language that's derogatory and dehumanizing.
The specific example they kept bringing up is when I called women who celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk hags and psychopaths.
The vast majority of the demons celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk were women. I've realized that repealing the 19th cannot be a suggestion, but must be a necessity to save civilization. Women, untethered from good masculine authority, become the worst hags and psychopaths, with their emotions and neuroticism weaponized for destructive purposes, because it is not in accordance with their God-given design to be birthers of life and their husband's helpmate. That stuff. Usually that's when I'll see a post by Kangmin, but he got fired. He got fired from his job, apparently, for his conservative beliefs, persecuted. Oppression is real. Cancel culture still exists. You know, the right hasn't completely adopted it and then transformed it where, you know, you can't basically make a single joke about Charlie Kirk. That'll get you fired. But no, cancel culture is real, and he lost his job, so he's here to tell you all about it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kangmin Lee, and I was just fired from my job for my conservative beliefs. This wasn't about my job performance or my relationships with colleagues. It happened because of the things I've said online and the political and religious views I've shared. Right before I was about to head out to work, I got a call from an executive at my workplace, and he opened with this.
The reason for this call is that we've decided to terminate your contract effective immediately.
Oh.
Beginning today and going forward, you're going to cease all contact with employees, and you are not welcome on our campus.
So they told me I was being removed immediately and not to return. The main reason? Because my posts were dehumanizing and derogatory.
It's clear to us that your commentary invokes language that's derogatory and dehumanizing.
The specific example they kept bringing up is when I called women who celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk hags and psychopaths. And apparently, that's unacceptable. What else are they? Calling them psychopaths is mild compared to the depraved gloating over the death of an innocent man. But they didn't care about the context. So what specifically?
Well, how about yesterday when you implied that women shouldn't have the right to vote and that women are hags, miserable?
Cogman, that's a little bit different, isn't it? That seems a little bit different than what you were implying there. You're like, well, I got fired because I was basically trying to call out people who mocked Charlie Kirk's death, and I may have used some strong language when I referred to them, but I mean, who amongst us has not thought that occasionally someone is a psychopath? And so that's what I said. And I got fired, again, for my conservative beliefs. It seems deeply unfair.
People, birthers, and psychopaths?
I didn't call women that.
Yes, you did. It's very clear. We have evidence of it.
Yeah, you can pull it up. I said that liberal women who dehumanize people and celebrate that.
You did not say liberal women. You did not say liberal women.
The context is...
There's no context. Your language.
Do you mind if I can?
I'm going to finish. Your language is dehumanizing. You target every kind of identity that's represented. I'm embarrassed that we're just realizing it.
So the context behind that is the thousands upon thousands of videos and tweets and posts of people who were celebrating the assassination of a husband and a father 2 weeks ago. So the context is the
context is king. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing though, right? Like, your employer probably was completely unaware that you spend all day being a culture warrior online, complaining about video games, wokeness, DEI, sweet baby ink, all that kind of stuff. Like, they probably couldn't care less about it all. And then someone probably pointed it out to them at a certain point, and then, you know, capitalism being what it is, I guess your boss is technically a bit of a dictator. Yeah, and I mean, that can be very unfortunate in the marketplace. We are living in a time right now that's really frightening, right? A time of is free speech truly free? Where we're getting this debate, because right now right-wingers are just going hardcore with Karen culture. They just want to call and get everyone fired. Doesn't matter if you're a reporter. As long as you said anything bad about Charlie Kirk, that's enough, right? There was, of course, the MSNBC host who had the audacity to say that Charlie Kirk was divisive. That was enough. How dare you? How dare you say he was divisive? Oh, okay. Well, fired, I guess. That was inappropriate, right? There was another person, an author and a journalist who had quoted Charlie Kirk, and that was too much. Not allowed to print his own words. That one's really, really scary as well. And a lot of right-wingers are celebrating that right now because they say, well, we don't care. We don't care if this is hypocritical. We don't care if we don't care at all about this whole free speech thing. Maybe we never did. We were just really sad that it kept on falling on us because people kept on cringing or getting upset when we wanted to be racist. And then that made us feel icky. And because we felt like we were sad about that. And then it's like, well, yeah, like, here's the two situations, right? In one situation, you want to deify a white supremacist and you're not allowed to say anything bad about him. And if you do, if you have the audacity to say anything other than he was an incredible man and that's it, right? So and if you stray from that, that apparently is grounds for you to be fired from your job. Like calling someone divisive. Just, again, if that's where the bar is at, this is so wild. And then there's that other example where it's like, hey, what happens when, say, like the government starts to put pressure through the FCC to get like a major corporation to fire someone based on jokes they made about Charlie Kirk? That's really frightening because, again, in that case, it really restricts the ability for people to even mock those in power or mock those with power. I mean, that would be really, I would say, a silence in free speech. But every example I see from the right is that you just wanted to say the N-word. And now you're really upset that people think you're a racist. And then you're also shocked if an employer finds out and they're like, yeah, I mean, we didn't know that you were like an overt racist. We didn't know that. And that's really fucked up. I mean, you know, if you can find somewhere that is totally fine with, you know, that style beliefs and bigotry and hatred that you want to put out there, maybe Stormfront is hiring, I don't know, but it's not for us. We're not feeling it.
Sheer number, it was like 80 to 20, 90 to 10. The majority of people celebrating his assassination, someone murdered in cold blood, were women. Now, these are women who are untethered to their family. They don't have good family lives, right? They have abandoned their families.
I would love to be the boss on the other end. You're kind of proving our point. Do you have any data to back this up, that the overwhelming amount of people who were celebrating Charlie Kirk's death were women? It sounds a lot more like you have some kind of hatred or vendetta against women. And right now you're just saying things, right? These are women who are not tethered to their family. They've abandoned the family. They're not proper Christians, all right? Do they not understand that they are the birth vessels?
And they don't have children.
So you don't know that. You don't know that.
Okay, sir. So this is, sir.
Suggest that the answer is to.
Am I allowed to finish, or are you going to keep white-splaining to
me? Hey, I meet your calls of sexism with my own calls of racism. All right, two can play the identity politics game. Haha. It's just like, this is one of those situations where I think, like, you know, some people don't realize if they spend a lot of time online that not everyone in the real world thinks like them, right? Because you get so much positive reinforcement all the time. If you're online and you're just in your little bubbles and you basically interact all day with like right-wingers or far-right extremists or people, misogynists and stuff like that, well, then a lot of the terrible things that they're saying to each other will sound normal to you. It's been normalized. But if you were to just walk up to someone, you know, like in a Wendy's, and you're placing an order, and you're like, by the way, can I please be served by someone who is tethered to their family? I don't want to have my fries touched by any woman who is unmarried, because she might be living in sin. And I believe that it'll be impure, and she might adulterate my food with, again, her perversions. Like, if you were to say that, someone would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Did you want gravy with your fries? I don't understand a word you're saying right now. But in your own inner circles, it all makes sense, right? Because again, you're dealing with other people who think and talk like this all day, that it's just been totally normalized in your brain. It's just so funny to hear a boss be like, what are you saying? You have no evidence about that. Why are you saying that the majority of people who celebrated Charlie Kirk's death were women? A, based on what? I'm sorry, where's the data backing it up? And then B, why are you implying that they're all not good mothers? That they're not attached to their families? Where are you getting this? And then as soon as the boss says that, he's like, why are you white-splaining this to me?
We can be done with the conversation. You are no longer permitted on this campus. You are effectively terminated immediately from your employment.
I asked for another example, and he accused me of saying that fat people shouldn't exist.
Okay, well, wait, because I noticed you put up the text in question just to prove your innocence. Because you don't. Okay. Well, don't worry, we'll go through it. I do have receipts. I just wanted to see what you'd said, right? Just to see what, but like, I mean, is this woke cancel culture out of control or something like that? So let's see what you said. I know this is unpopular, but after seeing how the vast majority of the demons celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk were women, I've realized that repealing the 19th cannot be a suggestion, but must be a necessity to save civilization. Women, untethered from good masculine authority, become the worst hags and psychopaths, with their emotions and neuroticism weaponized for destructive purposes, because it is not in accordance with their God-given design to be birthers of life and their husband's helpmate. Then, giving these miserable people political power has been a tragic mistake. Reminder that only 4% of women during the time of suffrage wanted the right to vote. I love that you tried to argue your way out of this. Again, that has to be social media, insular community brain, right? Because like, anyone looking at this would have been like, oh yeah, no, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you got fired. Right, yeah, no, yeah, of course. Well, I mean... You're advocating for the subjugation of half the human race. You're saying they shouldn't have the basic right to vote for their own governments. You understand why that's fucked, right? I don't. These hags and psychopaths, excuse me, have you not seen my justification? All of them were celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. But no, they weren't. I mean, again... If you're in a social media space and you go online and you see lots of other people on the right to the far right saying, look at this person mocking Charlie Kirk's death, it starts to build what is called a confirmation bias. And you start to believe that this is reflective of maybe the vast majority of the population, when it's just you on the computer on a social media site. That's all it is, right? But in your head, it feels more real. You formed a parasocial relationship with an idea. I don't know how else to explain it to you than that. And then because of that, and then obviously I would say a lot of incel philosophy here, you've come to believe that, like, again, half the population shouldn't have rights. And I can see why an employer might be like, oh, yikes, right? Like, oh, yikes, not great. But also I understand why he doesn't actually want to show the actual tweet, because it does look a little bit worse when you put it into context.
The answer is to
Am I allowed to never exist? This is your...
are effectively terminated immediately from your employment.
I asked for another example, and he accused me of saying that fat people shouldn't exist. What?
You clearly believe that fat people shouldn't exist.
What?
Correct?
I have never
Correct.
said that. I've never said that fat people should never exist. This is your emotion speaking. If you're able to at least use your faculties of reason.
We have a file full of odious things you've said.
Odious, like what else? What else?
Any one of which would be eligible. We would escort them out of the building. My only regret is that we've just discovered this at this point. And that's on this institution.
Okay, so I don't understand what beliefs that I hold, because I don't dehumanize women. I have talked many times on my platform about how women are incredible, that their telos, which means design in Greek, is to birth life, and that's a very...
I love this. It's not parody. This is real life. Excuse me. Hey, slow down, all right? I absolutely respect women, and I want you to understand that. I do. I deeply respect women, all right? I've said before that they serve a very important purpose in society, and that is they are the birth givers, all right? So they need to be impregnation vessels, which they should be honored. Honored, I say. And that is me definitely not being, like, what are the words you misogyn? No, I love women. Come on.
Important role in civilization. I've said that multiple times. I said they're empathetic, they're compassionate, they're great nurturers and caregivers. That's what I've said. I've also said that men need to step up. I've never said that men are better than women or women are better than men. I've never said that fat people should never exist. That's absurd. All I've said is that they should take care of their bodies and that they should steward the bodies that God has given them, right? So
I'm not interested in this debate.
And you see, no matter how much I try to reason, this is how liberals think. They don't value diversity of thought.
Okay, I just wanted to search for his, tweet history when it comes to the word fat. Whoever created buccal fat removal should be arrested and tried for crimes against humanity. It ruins every woman's natural face and makes them more ghoulish looking. Stop the buccal fat removal. There are so many hot people hiding inside fat people. I didn't expect for this to go viral. I speak for everyone when I say we want buccal fat removal banned forever. We are tired of women suddenly aging 30 years and looking malnourished. Thank you for your attention. I just love that the boss is like, I'm sorry, this is not up for debate. I don't have a conversation in relation to you trying to defend. Like, this is a decision that is over with. We have an entire folder, a binder, if you will, of all the things that you've been saying publicly for a long time now. Look, come on. If in my defense, I respect women. I believe that they are on Earth solely to receive our semen and be birth vessels. Come on. How is that derogatory? Genuine question. If they spend so many days walking around Disney parks, how are they still fat? How could he say I don't respect fat people? Did you like not think to purge any of this beforehand? It's like, oh, this looks bad. I'm getting fired. And you know what? I'm going to record the phone call just so I can turn it into a viral sensation. That's all going to happen. But I'm leaving all this stuff up. I remember going to Disney World last year and seeing dozens of morbidly obese slobs riding around in motorized mobility scooters because they were so fat they were incapable of walking. Children in adult bodies who never grew up. Pitiful and pathetic. Not a single fat person in sight here in Korea. I still think it's quite revealing that Hassan constantly praises terrorists is not a violation of Twitch 2S, but calling a fat woman fat or a man gets you banned on Twitch. He said he doesn't want military members fat and unqualified, and you immediately think of blacks and white. There's so much here. Like, just one of these would have had an employer go like, oh my god, I know, yeah, we just had no idea that, you know, he was just putting this out there. He's quite viral. It's a very prominent far-right account, I might add. Yeah, like, he has a lot of followers. Hegseth, no more fat and out-of-shape service members. Lib journalists. He's excluding blacks and women. What did he mean by this? Where did I shit on America? Hegseth called into generals to fat shame them. Incredible.
Or the free marketplace of ideas. They will fire you, destroy your life, and in extreme cases like we saw with Charlie Kirk, kill you and dance on your grave if you dare hold any right-wing opinions. To be an open conservative today in America still means to be a social pariah. Companies and institutions will punish you without question. But I believe in speaking honestly about my values. I've tried to be respectful while also being direct. Of course, I tend to be sarcastic and incorporate humor in my posts, but apparently that's become grounds for dismissal. I don't think being conservative or having strong religious Christian convictions should cause...
So, just so we're clear, by the way, because I don't believe in the I was just joking defense. That applies for me. That applies for everyone, universally, in terms of, like, what are you joking about, right? So, like, if I make a joke, and the punchline of the joke is basically billionaires have too much money, I don't think I get to hide behind, like, someone criticizing me, like, you don't like billionaires, Lance, and you make jokes about how they have too much, and you say they're wealth hoarders. I do, yes. I wouldn't be like, it was a joke. It doesn't count. It was a joke. I absolved myself. It's a joke. It's just comedy. Haha. Because, like, you know, I'm not just joking about nothing, right? Like, there was a purpose. What's the punchline, etc. And then you should, you know, if you are making jokes, if you're a comedian, you should actually stand behind your beliefs in that regard. And I think that an employer would have a very strong case to make that you hate women. A very strong one. Whether or not you were joking about how much you hate women, I think that's quite clear. I think an employer would also have a strong case that you hate fat people, because you made that quite clear. Again, just through, you can call them jokes if you want to, but I don't think that there would be much ground for a debate. But, you know, thank you for trying.
Someone their livelihood. It is possible recognizing bigot disagrees with you as a racist, xenophobic, misogynistic, transphobic, homophobic, every phobic monster. They chose to treat me like some violent terrorist that's not allowed on their property or to contact any of their employees anymore. They are more angry with me calling out garbage behavior than the garbage behavior itself. They are more angry at me calling people celebrating Charlie's assassination hags and psychopaths than they were at the very demons who celebrated Charlie's assassination.
Why didn't you mention that in that same post you said that women shouldn't have a right to vote? I'm pretty sure that's what they were angry about. You keep going back to, like, I just use strong language. You know, I did call them psychopaths, but I mean, at the end of the day, they were celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. So did I not have a right to call them psychopaths? And it's like, right, but you said all women. You should, they should repeal the amendment that gives women the right to vote. That's pretty fucked up, right? I can understand, again, why someone might see that and be like, whoa. In addition to, oh, what? Give, send, go. What the hell happened? Was the link broken? That is the actual link. I clicked on it. 2 for 2? Oh. Oh, Elon Musk sounding off as well. Wow. That's pretty wild. I also wanted to point out, if you didn't know this part of the story, because it didn't take very long to find. This says, me seeing all the tweets about people getting fired for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Seems like you were actually pretty excited about people getting fired from their jobs for making jokes. Now, I know hypocrisy doesn't mean anything anymore at all. Like, you know, those days are over. And there's probably going to be people who say, well, do you think these two things are equivalent? All right. Do you think it's completely fine to mock someone's death? Do you think they should be fired if you mock their death? And it's like, in the other direction, it does seem like he did make a very public statement about how he believes that, again, all women, all in totality, all women shouldn't have a right to vote, because he was blaming all women for what happened to Charlie Kirk in terms of mocking his death. That seems pretty extreme, right? And it seems like he has no problem with people being fired for similar reasons. Either way, I mean, very lucrative career. It only takes a couple of, wild posts before you've got yourself a trajectory. But what's more interesting for Mr. Lee is that he already found himself a new job. Again, surprising, given that the person who's hiring him is currently not exactly someone I would say who loves women, at least not in that way, if I'm being completely clear. Benny Johnson. I am proud to announce that Mr. Lee has accepted a position at our growing media company. He will join the Team Benny immediately, making this the single shortest cancellation in modern history, about 24 hours. I mean, yeah, like I've said before, the right, this has become basically a promotional career opportunity. Are you a misogynist? Are you a racist? Do you hate women? Do you hate fat people? Do you hate minorities? You got a job.
So thank you so much to our patrons for making this show possible. We could not fund it without you. And if you want to join, please check out patreon.com/theserfs to unlock bonus episodes, uncensored content, and all the good stuff. Thanks to Anna Loves Riley, Addercap, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hegbard Salim, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet One 85, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Tigwick, and Words Greenwood.